Our last panel for the day consists of energy education leaders. This panel includes Shawn Brink, the new North Dakota Energy Education Coordinator, Dr. Wayne Heckaman, Director of the Bakken Area Skills Center that's just down the road, Junior Hernandez, Technical Training Director with ONEOK, and Patrick Manier, Founder and CEO of Golden Path Solutions. This group will be moderated by our very own Reva Kautz, Communications Director with the NDPC. And they will be discussing today ways to reach tomorrow's workforce through energy education. Please help me welcome the panel.
Thank you, Brady. So tomorrow's workforce, and we're talking middle schoolers, high schoolers, and maybe even younger elementary school students. Today, my esteemed panel, you got to meet them a little bit with their title and organization, but I'm going to start our session by asking, why is it important to try to reach these kids with career exploration opportunities? Or tell us a fun story with a high schooler. So go ahead, Shawn.
Start. I'm Shawn Brink. Thank you for having me here. It's a great question. You know, I left, 27 years in education because I thought this sort of career exploration was important work. And I would put it to everybody in this room that we all make a living in this room. We're all spending our time trying to figure out how to utilize one of North Dakota's underground resources. And I would tell you, we have another resource in this state, and that's our young people. And I'd like to see our North Dakota kids be able to stay in North Dakota. And how do we do that? We have to give them an opportunity to see what's available. And out here in the oil and gas industry, there's a tremendous opportunity for our young people to be able to be gainfully employed, contributing members of our communities, raise families here. So that's my mission, and we can't do that without your help.
Dr. Wayne Heckaman.
Well, thanks for being, enjoy being here today. And I think the why that I've been a part of education for 20 plus years, and every year, I think we have more and more students that are unsure about their future. Because of so many opportunities, and really echo Shawn's thoughts there. I think we need to provide as many opportunities, many open doors for our students as possible. And being the director of the Bakken Area Skills Center, just right across the road here, an amazing facility that McKenzie County School District launched with the community efforts to build this facility and give those kids opportunities. The career exploration that Shawn talked about is ever more relevant in today as we look at building the next workforce for the Bakken region here. So I think the why is expanding the opportunities through that career exploration, through a CTE center, the education platform, and giving these kids the opportunities to make their choices, as many choices as possible. So that's my why, and I see it every day with kids. They walk through our center, you have conversations with them, you see the ability for them to spark an idea or their passion, and when you see that happen, you know that we're making the best decisions and the reason why for them. So, excellent. Thank you.
Junior, you're here on behalf of industry, so thank you for representing ONEOK.
Well, thank you for having me here. I appreciate it. As an industry partner, it's important that we allow and we teach these children what's available to them. I remember going to industry days and sitting there and asking them, what do you want to do as a career? And they would say, I want to work in the oil field. Well, what in the oil field would you like to do? And they couldn't answer that. So, you know, as part of the industry days, as an industry partner, we brought in several different career paths. We brought in engineers, environmental specialists, different people that could explain and answer their questions. And so as we've gone through those conversations, it's great that when I go to their school today and we ask them, what would you want to do? They will actually have a direct answer and say, I want to be an instrument technician, or I want to be a chemical engineer. So we're getting involved in helping them understand what's available to them and get them out in our industry.
Excellent. Now, Patrick, your story is a little bit different, coming from a company called Golden Path Solutions. Tell us your why.
Yep. So part of why we need to be involved in this is, like, every single one of us in this room were in the shoes of a student today. How many of you knew exactly what you wanted to do when you were in high school or college figuring it out? How many of you knew that some of the amazing jobs that people have talked about on this stage today, how many of you even knew that those jobs existed? Every time I come to these events, I'm learning things new. I'm like, that sounds like an awesome job. That sounds really cool. Well, then imagine, how do students today know that any of those jobs exist? How do they know what they're good at? And how do they understand the career paths that could actually lead to them being in this room, 10 or 15 years from now? And I think that's why I feel so passionately about this, is we talk a lot about workforce as being a need in our state. The schools and the students are the front line of workforce. The work that Dr. Heckaman and his team are doing, the work that teachers, that counselors, work-based learning coordinators, they are on the front line of getting our future workforce ready for what's coming. And so I actually think it's on all of us to make sure that we're giving them the tools that they need and the resources that they need, because the students that are in their classroom today are gonna be the people in this room driving the industry forward, in the next 2 or 3 decades. And we need to make sure that they're ready for that.
Excellent. So earlier today, we recognized Kent Ellis and his years of work with the T4 Summits. T4, what does that stand for? That stands for Tools, Trades, Torque, and Tech. And what we're trying to do this year is rebrand that a little bit into more of a vision. And you'll hear the phrase North Dakota Energy Education more and more. So to start us off, Shawn, tell us more what a T4 Summit is and why these summits play such an important role in career exploration.
Well, I'll start out by saying what T4 summits are not. They're not what we think of when we think about a traditional career fair, where kids show up, and like Wayne said, kids really don't know what they want to do, high school students especially. So they go to a career fair, a traditional career fair, and they don't engage with the industry. Industry's there handing out Tootsie Rolls and cards and hoping somebody comes over to visit with them. And the kids don't go visit because they don't really know what they want to do. They don't know what's out there. So I'll tell you, I stand on the shoulders of a giant here with Kent Ellis. The T4 Summit is his brainchild. And Kent was an educator and in industry, and he saw what we could link kids with industry. And what we do with the T4 Summit is kids come in, we have industry folks there, I have a team that goes with me, and they go to 4 or 5 different 40-minute sessions in different parts of the energy sectors. And we don't let them pick. We pick where they're gonna go. It's career exploration. We want kids to go experience something that they've never done. And we're looking for that aha moment. When a kid goes into something and they spend 40 minutes, but that 40 minutes is some sort of a hands-on activity where the kids are engaged with something related to the industry, with that particular industry. So we have natural gas pipeline assembly. We have a power plant puzzle we take. We have a welding, introduction to welding we're gonna be doing. And kids go spend time with that. And if they find out, they go there and they say, you know what, this really isn't for me, and that happens, that's okay too, because that kid can check that off their box, and that's not something I want to pursue. But if they have that aha moment, I had a student when I was teaching 9th grade science. We were doing ultrasounds, and my oldest child, we had just had her ultrasound done. And so I brought in the old VHS tape into my classroom with 9th graders. I rolled out a 24-inch console TV, and I popped in the VCR tape of my daughter's ultrasound, and I was pointing out things on there. It was about 7 minutes. And about a week later, her dad, who happened to be on the school board in Bismarck, came over to me, and he wanted to shake my hand. He said, I want to thank you what you did for Andrea. And I said, what did I do for Andrea? And he said, your ultrasound you showed her, she came home and said, I'm going to do something with babies. I'm going to do something. I think I want to take ultrasounds. I think she went in to be a pediatric neonatal nurse. But that one 7-minute aha moment for her set her on a career path. And I think T4s is set up as a career exploration to try and let them find that aha moment where they can then expand into other areas. And Wayne and I come from very similar backgrounds. I spent the last 17 years teaching in a career and tech center, very similar to where he's at. And we see kids in those tech centers that don't want to go to 4-year university, maybe. That's not for them. But they come to our career and technical education, whether that's welding. I happen to teach botany horticulture in the greenhouse, and they're not a behavior problem for us. They want to do something with their hands, they want to work, but they don't know what the opportunities are that are out there. So the T4 allows for legitimate career exploration. So when companies come and participate, they want to come back because they have a positive experience with the kids. The kids are working, they're asking questions, they're excited about something they're doing, and it's good for industry. It's good for the community. We serve the communities, and it's not just your own community at home. It's for me. I serve North Dakota. North Dakota is my community. I was raised here, and I stayed here, and so the T4 is just a terrific career exploration opportunity for students, and we do them all over the state. We have, I think we'll end up doing probably 9 different T4s this year. Our first one is in Bowman next week. So T4 is it's career exploration. It's not a career fair.
Correct. Thank you. Wayne, the Bakken Area Skills Center has a bold vision to connect those students to the high demand careers. How can you share your center's mission and how you realize that through the partnership and the programming that you offer?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, really our vision is about bridging the gap for education and workforce challenges. Ultimately, we look at different lenses. We look at the lens of the student and what can we do to find the solutions for them. And we also look at the lens of business and industry and what are your guys' challenges and trying to collaborate and work with you. So ultimately, we're open now the second full year. We had a tremendous first year of success of collaboration and partnerships, and I'll talk a little bit about our partnerships, and that's the reason for our success is the partnerships. The partnership of T4 now, the new vision of North Dakota Energy Education. We're sitting in the Rough Rider Center where the first T4 event was held. Dr. Holland in McKenzie County School District in the county of McKenzie County had a vision about finding a workforce solution and getting the kids engaged in that process and what does that look like. And so partnerships like this, partnerships with ONEOK and Junior. I can't say enough about Junior and what he does. Obviously, he's got an enormous role with his company. But the partnerships that we develop with programming, building out our programs for our students, Junior is, every one of our programs has an advisory committee, and Junior is on an automation advisory committee. He's built, along with many other people, have built that program up from the foundation to the point where I believe the automation program, I believe we have the strongest high school automation program in the Midwest. And that is truly because of partnerships with industry. When we look at the lens of our students and look at the lens of business and industry, we want to learn from you guys. We want to talk with you guys, we want to listen with you guys, we want to bring you to the table, the educational table for the first time ever. We want to change that. We want to say, hey, what do we need to do for you guys? How do we do it in our curriculum? How do we do it in our programming? How do we build the pathways? And the other partnership was with Golden Pass Solutions. We're the first CTE center in the state to have a partnership with Patrick and Golden Pass Solutions. And what they do to connect students with business and industry is to be commended. We need more involvement. We need more engagement. We're on the beginning front of it, but we have so much more to do. But it's partnerships that we've developed here today, which will get us to the next step in building more opportunities. I think when I take a look at partnerships as well as I see the president of Williston State College over there, we can't forget about the partnerships we've already developed with higher education, North Dakota University System. So every one of our program areas, we're looking strictly at what's the career path for those students as well within the program area. Williston State College has come to the forefront and been willing to partner with us. Bismarck State College with Grand Energy has been at the forefront of strategically with us as well. And then just recently, North Dakota State College of Science, we have a partnership with them. But we can't only mention those partnerships with post-secondary. We also have adult education that we're working with. And so the adult education part comes from Train ND. We've strategically worked the only CTE center in the state with Train and D in Bismarck and Train and D in Williston for the adult education to bring oil and gas training to the Bakken Area Skills Center. And that was an industry ask. Industry said, hey, what can we do for new employees? What can we do for even those that have a genuine interest to leave their career but go into industry? And so we worked with Junior. We worked with Bismarck State College, and we developed an oil and gas training. And so that was a valued strategic partnership there, which I believe is going to make a lasting impact. We're on our fourth cohort with that.
Yeah, we're getting ready to run our next session here in October.
Yep, our fourth session. We're very proud of that. And so as we develop the Bakken Area Skills Center, really it becomes a development of what do you guys want? What does the industry need? We're here to listen, and we're here to engage with you. So the one thing I would ask of you is when you go back to your leadership teams, please ask, are we engaged with the Bakken Area Skills Center? Are we engaged with T4? Are we engaged with Golden Path Solutions? And if you're not, please give us a call. We want to engage with you. We want to start those next steps.
Excellent. We'll learn more about a term called work-based learning. And those opportunities, I'm like, what's work-based learning? I thought it was just internships that we would offer. So there's multiple ways to offer that opportunity. Junior, can you share some success stories that you have offered to students with ONEOK?
Well, when it comes to success, right, if you go back a few years, there's been a gap. We've had to go out, and most of us here have gone out to the college, and we're hiring those individuals as they're graduating. And still we can't fill the gap. So then we started having these internships with the colleges. They come in and they work that first year, and we end up hiring them. And there's still a gap there. So one of the things that we worked on with like this gas and oil training is to come up with a curriculum and a training program that takes almost 2 years of training and condensed it down into 5 weeks, right? So now an individual that's working anywhere else can now attend this 5-week program, which half of it's online and the other half they actually go to the labs and get their hands on. And they're able to obtain the fundamentals, the terminology. They're able to learn about process, learn the safety aspects, learn how to operate the equipment and control it. So there's this condensed program, so they're skipping the math and the English and those kind of things. And they're able to go apply and get into the workforce almost immediately from completing that class. So that's really helping us close that gap. Now, as a success story, we've ran 3 sessions already, and we had gotten to the point where we were hiring individuals that didn't have oil and gas related experience. So we've sent employees that had less than 2 years of experience to take these classes. So we've sent 21 employees through that program, and all of them have come back with positive feedback on how much other things that they learned. If they worked in a plant, they learned more about the compressor station or what's going on upstream that helps them do their job better today. They've made recommendations that other employees should also attend that. So for our next session in October, we already have 5 additional employees that are already signed up to attend that. But ultimately, we're closing that gap of being able to fulfill our human capital needs within our industry.
Excellent. So Patrick, what are the systematic ways businesses connect with the schools and the students?
Yeah, so basically our company, Golden Path Solutions, we've built a system called Compass that was actually licensed by North Dakota Career and Technical Education that is available to all high school and middle school students in the state of North Dakota. We're also expanding into South Dakota and Minnesota, but North Dakota is really our primary focus. And essentially what we tried to do with Golden Path is to actually make the kinds of connections that Dr. Heckaman and Junior talked about. Like, how do we scale that? Because what we found was a lot of students didn't have networks where they knew like what certain employers did or like what types of careers they would maybe be a great fit for, especially in some of the more rural communities. And employers also didn't necessarily know, how do I connect with schools? Somebody might have a relationship with a teacher at a school that led to maybe a career fair or a guest speaking engagement, but you kind of had to know somebody. And so when we first started Golden Path Solutions and Compass, that was what we were trying to solve for, is how do we make this easier and scalable? So now basically what you all could do as employers, and a lot of you in the room are already in Compass and sharing opportunities, but you basically can create an account, and I think we've got a QR code, or you can go to the North Dakota Career and Technical Education website, search for business and industry, and then there's a sign up. And if you don't do anything other than just provide your contact information and the things that you're willing to offer schools, that's it. You can do that. It takes about 5 minutes, and then people like Dr. Heckaman or staff at the Bakken Area Skills Center, Williston, literally across the state, they will have access to your information. Even Shawn, like if you're willing to do events like T4, you can kind of indicate that you're willing to do that. But then what we also allow you to do is to offer work-based learning opportunities. So if you were willing to offer an internship, a summer job, even a mentorship, a lot of you are working in industries where there could be concerns about having a young student on site, but there are so many other ways that you can connect with those students and offer them an experience and help them get to know your company. You can publish those. Staff at the schools can approve things, and there's a whole workflow that we facilitate. And then finally, we also help you promote your longer-term careers and incentives that you may be offering. Hopefully a lot of you in the room are familiar with a program called the North Dakota Career Builders Program, where the state will match dollars that you contribute to a student's tuition for certain in-demand jobs. We can help you tell students that you're offering that incentive, and we can even help you highlight the programs like the colleges, the BSc automation programs, or the NDSCS diesel tech program, whatever it is. All of that stuff is in the system, really intended to help students kind of find what they're good at and get connected with the employers like you that desperately need their skills. And that's something that is available to every employer in the state.
Excellent. So Wayne, you've already talked about the strong partnerships with the industry. How has that really influenced the design and delivery of your programs?
Yeah, so launching a new CT center comes with the challenge of creating the curriculum, right? And so we have an amazing staff. Our second full year, we have 450 students taking our classes, and I think that's a testament to our amazing teachers and staff, but also a testament that shows you within the region, we're servicing students from 39 different school districts, and that shows you that there is a genuine interest in career and tech education, the career pathways for those students. And so as we develop partnerships like with Junior, we want to change and flip the script of what education looks like. We want the engagement piece from industry to come in and help us develop the programming for our students. What's the equipment that our students need? Because we want to make sure that it's responsive and relevant to what's going on currently with what you guys are seeing. And that's across all industries. We work with energy, we work with healthcare, we work with agriculture, aviation, construction and trades, and IT and technology. And so whatever the industry is, we want to listen to you guys and then also bring that to our advisory committee. We have strong representation on all of our advisory committees, and it's a testament to Junior, like I said before, that he's got multiple roles, but he still has a passion to help and develop education in those students, because he knows it comes full circle within the Bakken region and within his company. And so as we develop our programming, we can't do it without you guys, without individuals such as Junior, who's been at the table. Now, another good example is yesterday, our automation teacher, ONEOK's been instrumental. Port Energy has been the other company that's been instrumental in automation. Yesterday, our automation teacher went to Port Energy and worked with their team on PLC training. And so it's a relationship that goes both ways. They're helping to educate our instructor, and then we're also helping to build the program out to meet the needs for those companies and that industry as well. So again, we want to flip the education script on this and say, hey, how do we get more engagement from you guys? And ultimately, we have individuals from each of their companies come in monthly to spend time with our students, engage with them. They bring equipment and sit down with the students and show them how to work that equipment and really provide that hands-on opportunity. But more importantly, The partnerships that we're developing through every industry, it's about the network for the students. And I think more importantly, we look at the lens of our students. What do our students need? And more and more, it comes back to the partnerships and the collaboration. We can't do it alone. And to be on the forefront of education, to be on the forefront of the workforce challenges, we want everybody to be at the seat at the table. We want to be the quarterback to help facilitate all this, just like we're doing with Shawn and Junior and his company, and Patrick and their company as well, and North Dakota University system with the presidents and their teams, is we want to systematically align everybody to make the most use of the students' career path exploration and to get out into the workforce. So can we trim a semester, 2 semesters, a year and a half off of their career pathway to get out into the industry and help be an active member in your company, but more importantly, the community that they live in, and strengthen and vibrant our economy of the Bakken region and the state of North Dakota.
Junior, did you have a unique experience being a part of the curriculum creation? Tell us more about that.
Yes, so when we started first to get together, we kind of looked at all the different trades that really we had a gap in, and we wanted to close that. One of them being operations and the other one being the instrumentation and electrical program. So we talked about this automation program. We talked about basic design, where they learn how to read blueprints and read schematics. Then they move into the electronics, right? They learn electrical equipment. They learn automation, how to build logic. And then they conduct the maintenance and the troubleshooting aspect of that. And through the process of participating there, we've been able to meet some of the students and develop relationships. Now that program is 4 semesters long, so really they're not going to be completing that till this fall or next summer. And then we'll be encouraging those individuals to start and apply into the industry. But I think there's a whole lot of things that when you develop those relationships, we're still communicating with them. Some of those didn't complete that program because they started too late by the time we developed them, but they're at BSC now and we're still talking to them, and we're pretty confident that as soon as they graduate, they're going to come out here and be working for somebody out here.
So is it worth your time?
It's definitely worth my time.
Yeah.
And the investment as well.
Excellent. So Patrick, you mentioned Compass. This is a computer database, but how does it help students understand the path from middle school to high school to a future career?
Yeah, so the way that Compass works, how many of you all had like a class in high school that you absolutely loved? Hopefully you all did. How many of you had classes that you absolutely hated and despised? What we do is students build profiles in Compass of the classes that they're taking, the activities that they're in. Those could be like sports, or they could be clubs, or they could be technical associations, whatever. And then also what their hobbies are, like what do they like to do in their free time. And usually when they're filling that out, they're doing that with an educator or a counselor or somebody within the school. There's actually a Department of Public Instruction process that profile meets the requirements for. But then what we do is we kind of look at that student, all those different things that the student puts in, and we can translate that into skills that we can then use to match students to employers, to work-based learning opportunities, to careers, even to college programs. And the benefit of this is we're actually looking at the real experiences that a student has versus just focusing on like a questionnaire or a survey that I'm sure a lot of you have done in the past, like career interest inventories or different things. So that's kind of like our way of finding out what makes the student tick, so to speak. And then when we work with employers, we actually kind of ask the same questions to them. Like, what do your best employers, what did they look like when they were younger, and what were the things that they like to do? Or what are the types of classes that Junior you think might indicate that somebody is gonna be a really good fit for this future career? Then in the system, we can kind of match them up and create an introduction. And sometimes that introduction might lead to something awesome, and sometimes we also hear a lot of times, and even at T4 events or career fairs, part of the goals of that is also to help the student understand maybe what they don't wanna do, or maybe help them understand something about a job that they didn't know was a thing that might not be a good fit for them. Whatever we can do to make the student a little bit smarter, to give a little bit more of a connection and provide tools where everybody can kind of take that to the next step, that we hope ultimately will lead to a successful career and a great employee and enrollment with the colleges and enrollment in your programs. That's kind of what we're trying to do with the system and the whole matching process that we have.
Work-based learning, there's more than internships.
Yeah, yeah. Work-based learning is actually something that a lot of communities are really embracing in a lot of states. And actually with this administration, we're seeing a lot of focus even on apprenticeships, if any of you offer apprenticeship opportunities. But basically work-based learning is just how do we get students real connections to employers while they're in high school. In some cases they can get credit for that. Sometimes they can get paid for it. Certain communities sometimes help pay for that hourly wage. But it is definitely more than internships. In fact, it could even be service learning. It can be mentorships where you are going to a school, maybe going to a classroom at the BASC and having an interaction and coaching a group of students. I can guarantee you if you have a desire to connect with students in a way that's going to give them an experience, Dr. Heckaman and his team will figure out how to make that happen.
And when I think of a high school student offering a job, they may be 17, maybe even 16. A lot of companies are worried about, well, we can't let him do this on site because he's under 18. I actually saw Art Thompson here from WSI, and he has kind of some suggestions for our employers. Do you want to go into that a little bit of how, what about the obstacles or the concern?
I'll just touch on this very briefly. He was here. I don't know if he's still here. Is Art still in the room? Okay. We could just have him speak, and his deep, booming voice would, everybody would be able to find him. Art's team has been amazing at helping address any questions that employers have about work-based learning. And in fact, Pat Bertignoli, if Pat is still here, he actually coordinated a webinar series that we did for employers who might want to understand work-based learning. There's actually an email box that you can send questions to where WSI will respond and get back to you. And then a lot of schools will have what are called work-based learning coordinators. So in Watford City, it's Jill Leach. She's amazing. If any of you have, if you've met her, you will attest to that. Melissa Meyer is another person up in Williston. They will be able to answer those questions or get you connected too.
So Wayne, the Bakken Area Skill Center is one of the career and technical education centers throughout the state. I think there's more than 12. Some are virtual, some are building brand new buildings. Yours is, of course, just built in the last 2 years. So all of these career and technical education centers, how do they provide training and that career exposure?
Yeah, so we offer two platforms for our students to take courses. We have on-site courses for our students, and we've launched out a robust online CTE courses for all of our programs as well. And so to go back to that experience as the lens for our students is we want to make sure that our students have the most hands-on opportunities, the most engagement as possible during their coursework and the curriculum development of what we're doing. And so I'll touch a little bit on some of the framework that we've developed at the Bakken Area Skills Center. It really comes back to McKenzie County Public School District, just right next door to us. Dr. Holan and his team and the high school principal and their admin team, they've been very proactive, very innovative at adjusting their master schedule to front load core classes their freshman and sophomore year, which would open up the door for career exploration their junior and senior year. So that would directly help those students. And then while they're doing more career exploration CTE courses, that really opens up the door for more internships. We have 2 work-based learning coordinators. Those 2 work-based learning coordinators are strategically focused on working with those students to help engage them with the employers, working with Patrick's team on looking at their strengths and aligning their skill sets to help them get those hands-on experiences. It might be internships, it might be job shadows, it might be apprenticeships, it might be getting them involved with a mentorship. And so we really focus hard on the lens of helping the students, but more importantly, it also helps you as employers really start the connection process and the networking process as well. The other aspect of that is career pathways. The development of our programs strategically work on the career pathway for post-secondary. What can we do to align our coursework strategically through a vertical alignment with post-secondary, through Williston State College, Bismarck State College, North Dakota State College, within those program areas. And then while we're doing that is how do we develop those real life work experience that are such a value to those students. That's the connection piece. That's the engagement piece that we want for those students. And so it's a multifaceted format that we're working on. And we found great success with that. We found great success early on here with our energy companies and junior. And really, part of that too is the process of his engagement. We need that bilateral relationship for it to work as well. So again, I ask you to go back to your leadership team, ask if you're engaging in the process, and if you're not, please reach out to us. We want to help with the engagement piece. More importantly for the student experience, but also for the experience and helping with that workforce challenges that we're all trying to solve. We're here to help solve the equation as well, and we're systematically trying to put together that vertical alignment sheet because there's so many great entities out there doing great work. North Dakota University System, the e-commerce, Golden Path Solutions, now North Dakota Energy Education. So many of you already have such innovative practices going on in your companies that we want to learn from that, and we want to engage with that as well. So it's all about the engagement piece and the partnership piece for our students.
So this session really is about workforce. We're angling it towards that younger crowd, trying to reach them early. And this is a sneak peek to the last session of tomorrow's scenario where we're looking at higher education. And please stay and enjoy that session where we'll hear from Brent Sanford and the higher education about their angle with workforce as well. So Shawn, looking to the future, what gaps do you see emerging in workforce readiness or career preparation? And what do you think we can do to work together through the T4 summits, or how do we address these needs?
Yeah, there's, we've had a conversation about some gaps with our distance learners. So I was in at the T4 summit last year in Stanley, and I led a roundtable discussion with some kids, and one kid in particular struck me. I think he was from North Shore. He was taking it's a small district, and he was taking an online welding class. And he was pretty sure. I asked him, what do you want to do? I mean, what do you think you want to do when you get out of school? He was a junior or senior, and he said, I don't know, I might want to be a welder. I'm not really sure. Well, it was almost November, I think, and he hadn't touched a welder yet. And he's taking online welding. So we've discussed this. This is a gap that we have to try and fill. So one of the things we're looking at expanding, Kent, again, I'm going to talk about Kent. Kent started basically a worksite training camp a couple years ago for kids that want to be go into electricity, electrical linemen, and electrical in general, and sponsored primarily by industry and rural electric co-ops. And kids come in, they come to Bismarck, they spend a week with us, they do 10-hour work days, and they're climbing poles at BSC's facility for linemen, and they're going out to the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. They're spending the day out there, and they're figuring out what it's like to be a lineman. They're getting some hands-on experience. I'd like to expand that and have a welding camp, do a couple days of pipeline welding, a couple days of heavy structural, and a day of fabrication, and get those kids in from those small schools that don't have a chance to weld and really get their hands dirty, decided that's what they want to do. I think there's some gaps there. Another gap I see when we do a T4 and it's not in the heart of the Bakken, we have kids in other parts of the state that really don't know for sure what's going on out here. They don't get out here, they don't live here, but they're interested in working here. They're interested in the opportunity. So I'd like to see more of our energy sectors get involved in our T4s that are outside of your immediate communities, and get out and get some exposure to those kids all across our state. We do them in Grand Forks, we do them in Devil's Lake, we're going to do one in Bismarck. We have schools that are screaming for us to come. Why? Because the kids love it. the kids love it. They enjoy it. They see the value in it. And they want us to come, and I want to expose those kids. And we have higher education that does seminars for us, that does sessions. We're not just targeting kids that aren't interested in four-year university. We do geology. We encourage anything that's going to build our energy sector. And I'd like to see more of our companies get involved in all of our T4. I think the website up.
Coming.
I'm not sure.
I have a slide.
I'm going to leave a bunch of my cards out at the table at the Petroleum table out there, the welcome table. I won't be around to visit afterward. My dad had emergency bypass surgery this morning in Bismarck, so I've had a long 24 hours. I got to get back to Bismarck so I can see how he's doing. But I just found out he was out of surgery right before we came up on stage. So I won't be here, but I'm going to leave a bunch of cards. And on the cards is our T4 website and my contact information. But you can register as a facilitator right on the website now. You just go to the location you want to be at, and you click on there. It's very simple. Kent thinks he's retiring, but I'm not going to let him retire. He's going to be semi-retired. We will help train the trainer. If you're not sure what you can do or what kind of a session you can offer, Kent and I, or myself, both of us together, we will sit down with you and help you come up with something that kids will be engaged with that's targeting your industry, and we would love to have you. We talked about getting a portable welding trailer that has welders on the trailer that we can bring to those remote sites, but then we got to find a teacher, don't we? Yeah. So there's always gaps. This is rural North Dakota. I mean, there's always gaps. And if you haven't noted, we're all just pieces in one single puzzle. All of us are trying to fill the gaps. We're all trying to make decisions on what's best for kids and students, and hopefully that's best for our industry too. And that we're all part of that same thing. And I don't want to go too long because I know everybody's anxious for social hour, but we need your help. All of us need your help and support. We're working hard to do what's best for our kids and for our communities and for our state and for your industry. And we need as much support as we can, and whether that's with your time, which is your most valuable asset, or your resources or whatever. But we sure would like you to reach out to all of us and let us know how we can help you. I would echo exactly what Wayne said. We want to help you. We're in this game to help kids and to help our state and help our community and help your industry. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us.
So we do have that slide with the website for T4ndsummit.org. That's our new branded logo for North Dakota Energy Education, the old logo with the T4. So thank you, Shawn, for sharing that. And we want sponsors, we want facilitators, and we have a lot of T4 summits scheduled this school year and from years ahead that we need your help. We want you to sign up and get your name, get your company in Gold Pass Solutions Compass program so that you have the opportunity to match up with some schools, kids in your area where you operate. That's very important. Get involved with your career and technical education centers that are near you, where you operate. Offer to be on the advisory board. Offer to say, we'll be there for Industry Day. Mentor, be a guest lecturer. Any way you can, we need you to be a part so that they can help you find the future workforce that we need. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, panel. We will now adjourn the meeting for the day and reconvene here tomorrow morning. There will be a buffet breakfast served at 7:30 in the field house, and our meeting will resume promptly at 8:30 a.m. Please be sure to join us for a social and dinner tonight starting at 5:30 in the McKenzie County Ag Expo Center. Our Watford City hosts have gone through a lot of steps to make sure that tonight's event is outstanding and everyone has a great time at tonight's festivities. So it should be fun for everyone. See you all there. Just a reminder, make sure you check out the silent auction before you leave. We'll have that announcement of the winner tomorrow morning at the break. Thanks and have a great evening.